Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan sir, Honorable Finance Minister Sri K.N. Balagopal, Honorable Leader of the Opposition in the Legislative Assembly Sri V.D. Satishan sir, Honorable Chairman of the Public Accounts Committee Sri Sunny Joseph sir, Honorable Chairman of the Committee on Public Undertakings Sri E. Chandrasekharan sir, distinguished guests and dear friends. It is indeed my proud privilege and honor to speak a few words on the role of audit before this august gathering. While government audit has had a long history in India dating from the middle of the 19th century, it is only in the recent years that the institution of the Controller and Auditor General has assumed so much significance and drawn so much attention. This despite the fact that as early as in the late 1940s, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had referred to the Controller and Auditor General as probably the most important officer of the Constitution. In this connection, he said the CAG is the one person who is going to see that the expenses of Parliament are not exceeded or varied from what has been laid down by the Appropriation Act. That government money is sacrosanct is a fundamental principle drilled into the auditors of this institution from day one. That audit is not an end in itself, is another. Tasked with the onerous responsibility of upholding transparency and accountability in governance, the efforts of audit are focused towards providing the honorable legislators and citizens as ultimate stakeholders the assurance they seek on whether government funds are utilized for public welfare and for the delivery of public services in an efficient and effective manner. The role of CAG and the relationship of CAG and good governance is undisputable. In recent years, the potential of audit to have a deterrent effect on decision making has come in for comment, but this cannot detract us from the irrefutable fact that audit is an enabler of good governance. However, this does make us extra conscious of our responsibilities and the fact that rules are made for man and not vice versa. It is only appropriate that the motto of the CAG of India is Lok Hitarth Satyanishta, that is, dedicated to truth in public interest. The history of the institution of the Controller and Auditor General has been intertwined with the political, administrative, and socio-economic developments in this country. The origin of performance audit, as we know it today, was probably as a product of the planning era. The growth of a strong commercial audit is probably the result of the growth of a strong public sector system in the country. The advent of computerization in a big way in government through unprecedented challenges, prompting the CAG to embark on an entirely new type of audit, IT audit. The strengthening of Panchayati Raj institutions in the country following the 73rd and the 74th constitutional amendments, the introduction of value-added tax and eventually goods and services tax, international taxation, and audit of international bodies were all new avenues for this institution. government's engagement with the private sector through, for instance, revenue sharing arrangements required audit oversight to extend beyond government records. The frontiers of public audit have been the subject of debate and litigation in this country in recent years. Judicial pronouncements have underscored the paramount role our audit institution plays in ensuring accountability in the use of public resources by any entity, whether in the public or private domain. Thus, without doubt, the boundaries of audit are determined as a product of the times, evolving according to the need of the hour, just as the interpretation of the right to life and personal liberty under Article 21 of the Constitution has evolved over the years owing to the dynamic nature of our society. So too, what constitutes or falls under the ambit of audit cannot be bound by a rigid and static definition. In fact, the word audit is derived from the Latin word to hear, the Latin word audia, which means to hear or to listen. Thus, the path that audit takes or treads is essentially determined by what it hears. That is, in other words, the pulse of the society. We are proud to be a part of this institution that is constantly evolving and developing according to the needs of the society. We are also proud that ours is an institution which lays a lot of emphasis on upgrading the skills of its auditors as well as its infrastructure. The COVID days also taught us the need to adapt to changed circumstances. As auditors of the government, we are constantly aware of the tremendous responsibility we shoulder and that the expectations from audit today are greater than ever before. It is important that our audit reports always remain reliable because they not only carry the potential to be enablers of good governance, but they can also have the power to deter genuine decision makers of the future who probably mean well. On this special occasion, as we commemorate the creation of the institution of the Auditor General of this country and celebrate our heritage and the progress we have made thus far, we humbly reaffirm our commitment to contribute to the cause of good governance through our continuing pursuit of excellence. Thank you.